Well, we got more Japanese wrestling for all of you, but I'm also adding a little wrinkle. I decided to add another day of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Road to New Beginning. All of that will be discussed, reviewed, and talked about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Welcome, everybody, to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. Now, before I begin reviewing, some of you have already saw the latest news that I posted on the latest signees. Yeah, that is a good thing. Now, I haven't reviewed it well, but that is next on the list. However, I will reveal something for you guys as an update. Just found out from where I watch all the wrestling shows from either from Japan. They just added Ice Ribbon, which is another Joshi promotion. Now, I'm well aware about this promotion. This promotion used to be run by Emi Sakura. Now, if you guys remember her, she was amongst the Joshi girls that appeared on AEW Double or Nothing, and she also faced one of her students, Rio, in for the match. Matter of fact, she even trained Rio and Hikaru Shida. So I will review those 2 days that they added for those, and that will be coming soon. But right now, I'm trying to catch up with all the other wrestling stuff coming from Ring of Honor, MLW, NXT UK, 205 Live, and the New Japan Strong. But also trying to keep up with New Japan and all the Japanese wrestling that comes in my wake. But for now, I will try to do everything as possible. Right now, I'm going to do starting out with the latest event for the tour of the Road to New Beginning. So let's start doing that right about now. Okay, so we got Road to New Beginnings, where we're starting the latest tour. Again, they're in Cork and Hall. This took place on the 19th of January. So let's go with the first match. We had the United Empire once again, the Great Okan and Will Ospreay alongside B Priestley facing off against Yota Tsuji and Satoshi Kojima. Now, Satoshi Kojima is getting a little trying to get payback for what the Empire did to his friend Hiroyoshi Tenzan, but he will be back to face Ospreay and Great Khan when he teams up with Kojima, but they lost the match big time again. Next match. Has become an interesting storyline between both Suzuki-gun and the Bullet Club. The reason I say this, Suzuki-gun believes that El Fantasmo had cheated, put something on his shoe. So, it's consistent once again with Bullet Club members Yado, Gedo, El Fantasmo, and Taiji Shimori against Suzuki-gun, Doiki, El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Minoru Suzuki. Now, when I say that there was the controversial thing with that, Suzuki-gun believes, especially Desperado and Kanemaru, they believe that El Fantasma has something in his shoe. And of course, that's always been the case. But the match could have gone in Suzuki-gun's way, but once again, El Fantasmo does the little super kick and he had the ref check. And now, something that Kevin Kelly, the commentator for the English commentating group, did state it. Why didn't the referee ask him to take off his shoe just to be sure? And of course, El Fantasma stayed during the next match, which is Bullet Club members with Yujiro Takahashi, Dick Togo, and Evil taking on Chaos. Now, El Fantasmo says, that he's been training for 9 months on trees. I don't know. I think maple trees. That's what he said. But however, he did ask a question about Evil. He said, why won't he acknowledge to face Okada? Now, Evil has no time for the whole thing with Okada. Okada feels that there's a wrong that needs to be right, and that wrong was, of course, what happened at the New Japan Cup. So Okada teamed up with his buddies from Chaos, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto. And of course, this showed a little bit more of the strength now that Bullet Club are getting on track, because it's still unclear if Jay White is really out. We don't know much. Of course, there were reports about him leaving. Does this mean Evil will take over as leader? This will be the first time that a Japanese wrestler is going to take leadership on the Bullet Club as the like that. Majority of the leaders have been wrestlers outside of Japan, like uh, Finn Balor, who's Irish, AJ, American, Kenny, Canadian, and of course Jay White, New Zealand. So we'll see what that goes through. But however, it was Bullet Club once again that prevailed on this one as well. Now, the next match we have Lij, Tetsuya Naito, and Sanada teaming up, taking on Tomoaki Honma and Kota Ibushi. As you know, for the upcoming days in the new beginnings, Kota Ibushi will face Sanada and put both titles on the line. So this was like more of a preview. Now, so far, Kota Ibushi has lost with various wrestlers he teamed up with against Sanada and whoever he has teaming in for the road of new beginning. This one he tried his best, but however, it's still not enough. Like Sanada is still gunning for him. So the real question is, will Kota Ibushi loses the titles to Sanada New Beginnings? That is yet to be seen, but we'll talk more about this. Now, the next match we have Master Wato Sho, Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Lij members Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi. Now, all of these men have something to do. Bushi's going to take on Master Wato. Sho's going to face Hiromu Takahashi for the junior heavyweight title. And of course, Shingo Takagi is going to challenge Hiroshi Tanahashi for the never openweight. Now, Kevin Kelly, the English announcer, did say it was selfish of Shingo to have Hiroshi Tanahashi the challenge. Now, the never openweight has become one of those championships now where it's all about being the strongest. And the real question is with Tanahashi, who's like in his mid 40s, does he still has what it takes to overcome it? I mean, he had to deal with a guy like Greto Khan, but can his body still determine to take him on? Well, that's yet to be seen. But it was a good match, the way I see it. But however, Lij once again prevailed. So basically, Lij, Naito, and Sanada won their match, but this time Bushi, Hiromu, and Takagi won their matches. So there's still more to come on the road to new beginnings, and then we'll be in the new beginning show very soon. So right now, let's move into the next 2 days of DDT Pro Wrestling. So let's do the first one right now. Okie dokie. So we got the first day of DDT's latest event called Isn't It Dramatic? So this took place on the 11th of January. I forgot what hall was it, but it was in Tokyo, in case you guys are wondering where the location is. So they have an interesting stack of matches, so let's start from start to finish. First match is Toi Kojima versus Hiroki Ira. Now, I'm not familiarized with that guy, the second competitor. I have seen Toi Kojima on few occasions. This is mostly like a warm up match, but I'll tell you that it's this guy Hiroki Ira who won the match, so it ended like that. Next match is a tag team match. We got Junretsu, Hideki Okatani, and Mizuki Wadase taking on Disaster Box, Kazuki Irada, and Toro Washi. Good match. This was a really good match to watch. I enjoyed it. So I am familiarized with some of these guys, even if they're not in attack teams. But It was a good match. But however, it's Disaster Box that took the victory on this one. But however, oh no, messed up. Trying to keep up with the notes. Next match, we have Keigo Nakamura teaming up with Yuki Ino versus Eruption Yukio Sakaguchi and Kazusada Iguchi. This was a very interesting match. However, it did end it with Eruption winning because they are the top tag team within DDT. They are currently the KOD tag team champions. But however, what's his name? Yukio wants the title that Yukio Ino has. Don't remember which one is it. I don't know if it's the Universal that he has or the Open Weight. One of the two. But however, he wants the title. So basically, that's just like more like a warm up and build up to the story where we get to that championship. Next match, we have a very interesting match. We have Shanshiro Tagagi, then Shuko Dino taking on Akito and Shota. Now, I don't know how to explain this to you guys. They all had something in their mouths, kind of like something you see from the bondage section when you go to a adult store, but except they have tubes. But however, if you spoke out in pain, like giving like one of those sounds, kind of like when you go duck hunting, if the ref even hears you saying that, there is a chance you lose the match. So, however, they kept trying to hold it together, like, "Oh, no, 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 no." And then when the referee is out, apparently they kept using the same sound. And ref wakes up after being knocked out. I was like, no contest, and they still fighting. I thought it was so funny. Now, if you guys never seen a DDT pro wrestling event, watch it. There are some funny storyline, funny matches they've thrown because there's a reason why this promotion exists. They throw in a bit of their comedy parody, and that is something that you don't see every day. You see matches like outside the ring. You see matches in the street. I mean, I even the first time I reviewed DDT, that one of their events was in the streets of Tokyo, and of course, a little water park. So this is one of those matches you want to see. Now the next match is a tag team match. We have Yusuke Okada teaming up with Makoto Oishi taking on Antonio Honda and Chris Brooks. The match was okay. I am familiarized with the second team, Honda and Brooks, but however, it was Okada and Oishi that actually won. They were a very interesting tag team, Okada and Oishi. It's funny they have both their last name starts with an O, but we'll see how that. But it was a good match. I like it. Next match we have is a six-man tag team match. We had uh no, we had a tag team match. We have Damnation, Mad Polly, and Yuji Ino taking on Yukio Naya and Harashimi. Now, Mad Polly and Yuki Hijo, they have been a dominant force. Like, think of them as a new version of the Brothers of Destruction. Very huge dudes. They're making a name for themselves. They are now one of the top groups in the Damnation faction, but within, of course, do I see them making a play for the KOD tag team titles? Well, possibly, yeah. But they won their match for the huge advantage that they have. They're big size and powerful. Now we get to the main event. We got Mao Shun Katsumara and Konosuke Takeshita taking on Damnation, Soma Tokai, Daisuke Sasaki, and Tetsuya Endo. Now, Damnation has always been proving as one of the most interesting heel factions within DDT. They have proven time and time again they're dominant. It doesn't matter if they cheat their way, but they have proved it on various occasions. And Damnation actually won that match just like that, all thanks to Tetsuya Endo, who is one of their top guys that they have. So I think that's it right now for this DDT show. So let's move on to the next one that they have. All right, so we got the next DDT event. This one's called Reprint Young Communications Special. This took place at on January 16th. A different kind of hall in Tokyo. These guys normally operate out in Tokyo, so don't ask me why. So their first match was a very interesting one. I kind of like was very this the first team. It was a tag team match. First team it was Transam Hiroshi and Maochi Kageyama taking on Gota Ahaishi, who I know of, and of course Rion Mizuki. Now, reason I say this, there's certain wrestlers that are kind of interesting. This guy named Transam Hiroshi. He's this guy who acts like a Buddhist monk or something. He wrestles with no shoes. He's in a bald head. He does meditation. I thought it was a great character type. I was like so amazed at how this match was so interesting. So I have to say, Transam Hiroshi is one of those wrestlers that I really need to pay attention because they throw in a bit of the comedy in their shows, and this is one of them. So, but of course, in the way it ended is when Hiroshi actually won this match, or was it, Mizuki, Miyochi, Michio? I think that's the name, Michio Kageyama. Yeah, I think it was Michio Kageyama who actually won. He pinned Gota, two huge dudes. Next match we have Daichi Kazuko taking on Tatsuhiko Yoshino taking on Shota and Soma Takoa. Now these two guys, Shota and Soma, they normally are not part of the same faction. Soma Takoa, he's originally from the faction known as Damnation. Now you ask yourself, why did they pair them? I don't know. But however, the match was very good. I think this is one of those matches that you definitely would enjoy because you got two guys who are not affiliated with each other, but they were paired up. But basically, I looked at Takao, who in fact doesn't seem like it's like we're not friends. We're just gonna win this match, okay? He was that guy, but Shota, he's a bit more cocky, and that's the reason the match lost because he was so carelessness. Even though he should have let Takao actually taking the victory, but it did not happen that way. So Kazuko and Yoshino actually won the match. Next match is a singles match. We have Hakido and Toru Sugiura. Now, this was an unbelievable match. One of the most interesting singles competition match I've ever seen. Now, I am aware of Hakido. I've seen him a lot. He is a great wrestler. But this guy, Toru, unbelievable. I was like, wow. I cannot explain it. But they did not add any of the comedy that they normally do. But this time it was good. I recommend this match. If anybody who sees this on the link, which is watchwrestling.la, you know what I'm talking about. So if you've seen this match, you'll be amazed. But however, it was Toru Sugiura actually who won. Now the next match is a very interesting tag team match, a six-man tag team match. We have Fuma Kasuka Hirata and this guy I've not seen before, Rauichi Sekin taking on Shigehiro Iri, Kisuke Ishii, and Yukihiro Abe. Also another good match in this one. I did enjoy the six-man tag team match. I was like, wow, unbelievable. I have to say the last three matches were the best. But who won in this six-man? Well, that's Fuma, Hirata, and Sakine. Now the main event was Hideki Owakatani taking on Keigo Imura. Now this was also a good match. One of the best. I'm like thinking, okay, I was brooding for the guy who is like, okay, he's energized. He's like the skinny nerd dude that you know is gonna lose, but man, this guy knows how to put on a show. Keigo Nakamura is like, wow, really amazing. He put a lot of effort for it, but it did not help for him when he lost against Hideki Okatani. So I'm like, wow. So I have to say the last three matches were the best, in my opinion. So if you ever get seen this, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I think that's it for now with finishing with DDT. So let's move on to Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. All right, so let's talk about Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. So this one took place in the same hall as the previous one and on the 16th of January. So the first match was Hirusu Endo taking on Maki Ito. Now this match was also a really good one because I like Maki Ito. Who she comes out like one of those girls that sings in a who used to be in a girl band but stroke on her own. So that kind of thing. But it was a good match, even though Maki has this great attitude that I enjoy watching, especially when she lost to Miyu Yamashita. But she's good. Um, so she won her match on this one. Next match was a tag team match. We got Moka Miyamoto and Miyu Yamashita taking on the superheroes Hyper Misao and Shin Ultra Shoko. Man, like I said, this whole thing went back to the hurricane times. Do I thought these two were gonna win? Absolutely, because I have to say this whole superhero thing is kind of makes it more funner and funner. But it was a good match. I don't know how Shin Ultra Shoko was able to continue fighting even though she had a longer cape. Hyper doesn't. But we'll see how they plan it out. But it was in fact Hyper and Shoko who actually won this match. It was great. But it won't be the last time we see them. Next match is another tag team match. We had Sena Shiori and Mirai Mayumi taking on Palm Harajuku and Yuki Kamifuko. Now, as you know, Kamifuko and Mayumi are planning to battle out for the International Princess Championship. It was a good match too, especially with Kamifuko. She's a very impressive wrestler. I was like, first time I seen her, she's good. Um, I don't know when will that match between her and Mayumi will take place, but I can't wait for it. But however, her partnership with Palm was great too. So they both won this match. Next match is a 6-woman tag team match. We have Suzumi, Maraki Kobashi, and now Kakuda taking on Haruni Neko and the Bakuretsu sisters, Yuki Einio and no, Nodoka Temna. Also a good match. I think the the Bakuretsu sisters are the current the Princess Tag Team Champions. Very good team. I think they're amazing, especially when they team with other people. But however, it did end it in their favor. That's what's her name? Yuki pulled up a submission move. Great match. But however, it didn't end right there for them. Post match, the superheroes once again. And in this particular match, they didn't DDT they don't have anybody to translate. But however, I can tell by the expressions, by the way they talk, doing their hand gesturing, they want the titles. So that is going to be another interesting thing. So can't wait. Now the main event is a 6-woman tag team match. We got the Up girls, Hikari Nao, Raku, and Mia Wananabe taking on the magical Sugar Rabbits, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki teaming with the Princess of Princess champion, Rika Tatsumi. Now, in this match, there have been some interesting moments in this. There has been misfires by Rika accidentally hurting Yuka. She gets a little frustrated that you misfire. You know, she's like the magical girl, but all of a sudden, these misfires were not supposed to happen, but it did. So, but it was a good match. I think this is one of the best main event matches I've seen so far with Tokyo Yoshi Pro, and of course, it was in fact Rika who won the match for her team. So I can't wait to see more. What is going to happen? I'm just excited to see more. So I hope you guys enjoy me reviewing these Japanese wrestling shows. I love them. I'm becoming addicted to it, but I love it. So for now, I must bid all of you guys adieu, and I'll see you in the next episode. So, goodbye, mwah, and have a nice day. Bang!